Hey, welcome to the book, Harlots. We're back with the Beast, but before I get into that, I'm Eliza Mann.
AJ Norris.
And I'm Sage Spelling.
All right, so we're going to get into this week's book, and it's a big mofo. And before we do that, I did want to point out that if you go by the reading order, we're technically supposed to be on Blood Kiss this week. So the next couple of weeks, we'll do Blood Kiss, and then is it Blood Fury? What's the second one?
Blood Vow.
Blood Vow. So that'll be the next two books instead of going back and forth. So we'll make up for it. But nothing is as it used to be for the Black Dagger Brotherhood. After avoiding war with the shadows, alliances have shifted and lines have been drawn. The slayers of the lessening society are stronger than ever, preying on human weakness to acquire more money, more weapons, more power. But as the Brotherhood readies for an all-out attack on them, one of their own fights a battle within himself. I'm sorry, I totally skipped a line. For Rage, the brother with the biggest appetite, but also the biggest heart, life was supposed to be perfect, or at the very least, perfectly enjoyable. Mary, his beloved Shellen, is by his side, and his king and his brothers are thriving. But Rage can't understand or control the panic and insecurity that plague him. And that terrifies him, as well as distances him from his mate. After suffering a mortal injury in battle, Rage must reassess his priorities and answer. And the answer, when it comes to him, rocks his world and Mary's. But Mary is on a journey of her own, one that will either bring them closer together or cause a split that neither will recover from. So that is the synopsis of The Beast. So we'll go right into it. Why didn't Mary pick up on Rage's sadness and pain? So we kind of seen that in a couple books at this point. And Mary's a therapist. So why do you think she didn't pick up on that? We'll start with AJ.
I think that she was just wrapped up in her own issues, like with Safe Place, and job is hard on her, and I think sometimes you can't see things that are going on when they're so close to you. Like, she was really close to Rage, so I think she just didn't pick up on it because there's a lot going on, and we just had the death of one of the main characters, and she's just dealing with a lot and couldn't see it. She was too close to it. So
what do you think, Sage?
I agree a little bit. I think that she is a little close to it. She was kind of wrapped up in what she was going through herself. I think because Biddy losing her mom, her mom's sick, and she kind of resonated with her because of what she had to go through with her mom. But I also think that she kind of did I remember in the shadows. So she confronted him a little bit about what he was going through, and I think maybe she just figured it was PSD from him almost losing her, and I think she maybe kind of brushed it off. So I think with everything going on, I think she knew something was off with him because she questioned him, but I think she didn't look further in what more it could be, more than just him kind of reliving the thought of losing her.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think she had a clue about it, but I just, it would have been nice if she would have picked up on that. But, unfortunately, I don't think that that's always the way relationships work, even if all the clues are there. So it is unfortunate, though, because maybe some of this could have been prevented. But on that same vein, Rage was told by V, when they were getting ready to go into battle at the Brunswick School for Girls, that he was going to die that night. And Rage, instead of taking his advice, he kind of threw caution to the wind and jumped the gun and flew his fine ass out into the middle of battle before he was supposed to, and ignored what V said. What was going on with that? Was he ready to die, or was he just, confused on, what could have happened?
Yeah, I think he was
first.
just, I know, I just think he was fucked in the head.
Mhm.
He just
Yeah, oh
didn't,
yeah.
wasn't thinking straight. I don't think it was,
Mhm.
he was just discombobulated, and I don't think he really had a death wish. It was just, like, fuck you, V, you don't, control me, and,
You ain't
I
the
don't know.
boss of me.
Huh?
You ain't the boss of me.
Yep, you ain't the boss of me. Stop bossing me.
Worry about yourself.
Right. Worry about your own self. That's what you do, D. What
Even
what
though V has never been wrong. So it's
Right.
just like,
ever. Like
yeah,
ever.
he was just going through a thing, and I don't know, trying to work it out. Not the
Mhm.
best
Yeah.
way. He was doing it in a destructive way, I guess. That's the
Yeah,
best
that's
way.
possible. What do you think, Sage?
I would agree. But also he kind of, I think he didn't acknowledge it, but he kind of knew, because he said he didn't acknowledge it then. He acknowledged it later, saying that, at least in the fade, it's just me, and it would be just, if I die and Mary joins me in the fade, then it's just us, and this feeling that I'm having wouldn't matter anymore. We would just be together, and everything would be okay. So I think a lot of that had to do with, I mean, I think he kind of did want to die at that point. Maybe, it, because he kind of just, he said that. I kind of wanted to, I felt like if we were in the fade, that all these feelings I was feeling wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
So I think, that's where he was at that time.
I agree with both of you as usual, but I also have a little bit to add on to that. I feel like Rage had never really dealt with, like, he had dealt with consequences before, but I don't think he'd ever had to deal with a crisis of self, because this was kind of like, I don't know where this sadness is coming from. I have no idea of why I'm depressed. And, maybe there's nothing left. You know what I mean? Kind of like, maybe this change of going into the fade would, get rid of all my problems and get rid of that hole I feel inside myself. Not that it was logical, but I think maybe that had a little bit of something to do with it. It's kind of just a twist on what you guys were already thinking, So as a result of his tomfoolery, the Beast had to save his ass twice. The first time when he got shot in the chest, he shifted into the Beast and almost ate my baby daddy a cell in the process. But that's neither here nor there. We're gonna leave that alone. I was kind of mad at the Beast for that. And he ran V's ass into a shed as well. And then when he shifted back, he went in and saved him because at Mary's urging. So I think this school was kind of the catalyst. The battle on the school at the school was kind of the catalyst for so many things that happened in the book. What do you think gave Mary the idea? Let's go there first. Where do you think Mary gave Mary the idea to, urge the Beast to save Rage that second time?
Oh, Scribe Virgin. I mean, she definitely did that, I mean, V goes and, tries to get his mom to do something, and she just was like laying there like a lump on a log, pretty much. And, and so then, Mary is just like, I don't know where I got the idea from. I don't know, and so then V's kind of like, so.
How about you, Sage?
I agree. As because Mary didn't really know where it came from and why she thought the Beast would have the ability to do it. It just popped in her head like magic, right? So and we know that she didn't know, nobody else knew because V didn't tell anybody else, but we knew that he went to his mom. So I feel like she implanted that idea in her head. I really do.
I agree with that. I think when she saw, and we were going to talk about V and his mom a little bit later, but I think we can add that now. I think she had kind of given up the ghosts, up there. So I think V's aggressive demand and she, do something for a fucking change. I think that really like motivated her to give Mary that idea. But more on them later. The Scribe Virgin is a whole fucking masterclass in psychology. So we'll get to her in a little bit.
Then again, maybe she just always, that was her plan from the beginning to help. Because she does it more than once in this book, so.
You always give her the benefit of the doubt. Right? Like you stay being like, I'd be like, she's a bitch. She'd be like, well, maybe she's got a heart. Yeah. You know what? I think maybe she is. Because she is kind of a parent figure. You know what I mean? So I'll give you that today. Maybe I'm just in a good mood. Because I'm like, she's a bitch. So after everything was over and there was quiet, Mary and Rage went back to the hospital and they were about to get busy. And she happened to say, it's a good 12 inches, give or take a few. And I think I need to like assess my scale. Is it possible that Butch has like a 15-inch penis?
Like how does that even fit, dude? Like that doesn't even fit. Like you can't even, your twat's not that big. I mean, you'd have to.
I think maybe it's a thing. I mean, I don't know.
It's percent. I think we keep going back to this, but I think it's all perception and how each Shellen describes it, right? So we get that image of the baseball bat because of Jane, and Marissa's shock, but I think Jane was being kind of sarcastic, like, whoa, buddy, but with Marissa, it was like awe. And I think it was just because she, it was probably the first one that she came that
she'd never seen one before. That was her perspective. So it's all perspective.
I agree that it's perspective, but when you say it touched his navel, that's not perspective. That's a measurement. It's not like if I say, oh, it looks so big, and then it like
Sean said that because even Hex was like, you're huge.
I mean, I think,
but they're huge men. They're huge men, right?
I'm just gonna say, like, if we had to compare them, they like Shaquille O'Neal size. Shaquille O'Neal wears a size 21 shoe. He probably does not have a 7-inch pecker. Like I'm gonna just say that. I mean, right. The brothers are Shaq size, right? So I'm going to just go ahead with my scale. I'm going to update my scale. Butch is 15 inches and Rage is 12.
Well, she said give or take. So, I mean, I took it as in the gift scale.
Fit. I don't care what you're saying.
You don't know people's, like, canal size or nothing. Like, what? What are you saying? I mean, babies are like
yes, you're supposed to be able to accommodate every shape and size, but 15, that's up in your goddamn throat. I mean,
I don't think it is. I think no. I'll tell you this.
Well, Eliza just mentioned babies.
I'd love to find out.
Hold on, Eliza just mentioned babies.
You're not going to be able to get it all the way to the hilt doing that with 15 inches. Just not going to.
I want to find out. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I want to know if I just want to know. Okay, so that was the whole thing. That was the comment.
Okay, hold on. So if anyone's out there listening and have any real perspective on this, please comment and let us know.
I have perspective, but I ain't telling y'all my business.
But I think that this size is relative to their perspective, like Jane's comparing it to a human, and they're not human, and Marissa's never seen one, and I mean, it's all perspective. So I mean, but what's funny is like
navel. I mean, unless his navel is like exceedingly low, like unless his navel is like at his hip bone or something, like that's pretty clear. Like his navel, he's a tall guy, probably got a lot of distance between his thingy and his navel, right? So I'm using that as measurement.
I mean, I still think the 12-15 is I mean, if she's a
I
12,
feel like
give
that's
or
a fair
take.
scale.
I'm more like in the give, right? So, I mean, honestly, that would reach the navel. Yeah.
I feel like it would.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, I got a ruler here too. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know. I feel like
I'm not going to argue this.
I
I'm good with this image in my mind.
I am
Absolutely.
too. I have no problem.
I have no
So
problem
I'm not
with
going to
Valentine's
argue the
Day.
realisticness of this.
I don't want any realism. I don't want it. I want it to be 15
She wants a
inches.
fantasy-sized dick. That's what she wants.
Yeah, I accept. Thank you. Can I just have my fantasy? Dang. It's amazing. It's amazing. I appreciate Mary for being upfront and
She's like, give or take.
scale. She's like, give or take a few. But I'm going to go with give.
I think we all want to go with give. Right.
All right. So now that we got the dicks together, why did it take so long for Rage to recognize his desire to have children? Like, we kind of see that was maybe the whole problem with him the whole time. His brothers were having babies, and he saw their joy. I mean, we evidenced that with him holding little Wrath, which was such a tear-jerking scene. Why did it take him so long? And then, you know, while we're on that, why did it take Mary so long?
You know, I think with Rage, maybe he was in a little bit of denial. Like, he knew that when he mated Mary that she couldn't have children. And I think, you know, he was like, oh, that's fine, because, you know, I love her enough that it doesn't matter. But at the same time, you know, he could have just been lying to himself. And he just, you know, it was one of those things where he just went, once he saw what, you know, fatherhood was really like and his brothers going through it, it was kind of like, became envious of it, you know? And I don't know what Mary's problem is. I think that she just never thought that it could happen for her, you know, and so she just wasn't thinking along those lines, even though I think maybe subconsciously she already in her mind wanted to adopt Biddy. So she just couldn't go there for whatever reason. She just didn't think she was entitled to it or whatever. I don't know, because of all the good things that she's had happen to her too as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
how about you, Sage?
I along the same lines as AJ. You know, with him having that realization and while he was holding LW, I think the whole thing was, if he admitted that he felt like he was missing something, then he felt like he would be disappointing Mary, because the reason why they were together, they are able to be together, is because she cannot have children. So for him to admit it to himself was to admit that there is something missing in the relationship that they were given that happily ever after for, right? I think that's why it was hard for him to actually admit that that's what was missing for him. And that scene with him holding LW, like, I bawled through that whole scene. It was so sweet. Yeah. And then with Mary, I think it was, she was along the lines that AJ said, she didn't think that she could have kids. So it was never something that she, you know, considered. She always, you know, my contribution to the next generation is to take care of these kids. And that was how she looked at it. But the connection that she was making with Biddy really impacted her. And so, yeah, just like when she first went home, like the night that her mom, you know, Biddy's mom died, she was taking her to the mansion, like subconsciously she knew that was going to be her child. Like, I think she felt the connection to her, and it was special.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but I do feel like Rage kind of knew what was bothering him. I think he was just afraid to admit it, because to admit it would mean that he was dissatisfied in some way with his relationship with Mary, and I think that scared the shit out of him. And I
get it, betraying her or something.
Yeah, I feel like he was like, oh, you know, I have so much. I almost didn't have Mary, and to, you know, say that he's going to, accept this relationship without kids, even though that's what he wants. It really takes a huge step, but it was killing him a little bit because I think he refused to acknowledge it, and then the same thing with Mary. I think Mary just had accepted. I think she had resigned herself to the fact that she would never have this, and to dare to dream is just too painful. Like you push it away until you can deal with it. And I think when the suggestion came up, I think that's when she was like, okay, I can hope for this. So, and on that, was Rage lying to himself? Like, what if the opportunity hadn't presented it to them? Like, what if there was no Biddy, or, this uncle she keeps talking about were to show up? Would he have been okay anyway?
Yeah, I think so. And if it wasn't Biddy, it could have been another kid, that didn't have to be Biddy, but, if they both, I think he would be fine either way. But I mean, when this opportunity came along, of course you're going to snag it, even if, you're like, it's fine either way. But if it comes along, yeah, you're not going to just be like, okay, you're going to snag it because, and he had such an instant connection with her that it was like, she was his no matter what, So they were so
yeah. How about you say?
I think he'd be okay for now. And then the next time that emotion arises, you might have to go through it again. I think, a lot of times when you truly do desire something, and you talk it out and you deal with what you're feeling, it doesn't mean it goes away. That desire to in his case, to have children, it's not going to go away. You know what I mean? Because the next time, like he dealt with it and then the babies were born, that yearning might come back. Right. And it's just something that, so I think for now he was okay. But I think that if they didn't have Biddy, that they would have ended up going out and adopting later or something like that. I think that, because that feeling was never going to completely go away.
Yeah, I think when you want kids, I mean, not that everybody has to have kids, but when you want children and it's something that, is through no fault of their own, you want babies, but, it's not, I don't believe that they have like an adoption agency for the vampire young, which would have been great because we got so many kids that like turned up, whatever years old, like, they probably needed that. But anyway, that's a suggestion for another time. But I feel like he would have as well. Like, even if he would have said, I'm okay, I'm fine, they probably would have had to deal with that again and again, But let's move to the fun stuff. So Biddy and Rage. Oh my God, so much cuteness, so many great moments happen. What was your favorite Biddy and Rage moment?
Oh, I mean, I think when Rage turned into his beast, she was just like, he's like a puppy, and she was still like, and she, telling Rage like after the fact, like, hey, yeah, he let me scratch his belly, and like, he likes me, and it was just like, she was not afraid. Like, she's like, well, she thinks the Rage is this big puppy dog, and she's like, no, how could he possibly hurt me? And I think that and I've said this before, I think, but I think that their lack of fear is what, the beast really, he responds to that for some reason. I don't know why. I think, Mary's never afraid of him, and Biddy was just like, hey, he's just this big cuddly dog. I don't know. It was just sweet. And that scene was also led to Rage kind of letting the cat out of the bag with them wanting to adopt her. So, which was a sweet way of introducing. She's like, I'm going to go home with you. And she was just like really excited about it. So,
yeah. How about you, Sage?
there was a few, like there was like almost every scene, right? So every scene was awesome. I love that first scene, and when they're talking about, you know, he's like, let me show you my car, but don't get scared of the horsepower. It has this horsepower. She's like, where are the horses? You know, like just like this cute little like back and forth with them. And then, you know, or when they went out to eat ice cream, you know, like that I loved, because when we were in his POV, and when she picked that chocolate chip ice cream, and you know, he was like, oh, it's just a coincidence, it can't be, like, you know. But I loved those new moments together that really made it special.
Yeah, she was almost like a fish out of water. So she was, like everything was a new experience to her, and it like and it's actually kind of sad too in a way, you know. So, and I love how she went. She came into the mansion, and she was just so outgoing. Like her personality is, you know, you would have thought she was kind of meek, but she really wasn't. She was just like, "Hey, I'm Biddy. I'm here."
Yeah. So I think you guys picked them all, but I think my favorite moment was probably when the girl came over to the table, and she was like naturally in awe of Rage, and she was like, "Oh, do they always do that to you?" And he's like, "I don't see anybody else but Mary," you know, and to show that level of love for a woman when she had such a tragic start in her life with her father being so cruel to her own mother, that was just so sweet. It like hit me in the heart. And then of course Harley, like, how much food are you gonna eat, dude? Like seriously, you're gonna like blow your stomach up. So I just love, I honestly, I loved every single interaction with them. I think I love the most though the Beast like flipping over on his tummy, and her like trying to stretch with all her might and get as tall as she could to like pet him on his stomach. That was so cute. So yeah, lots to love about their relationship.
Well, you know, sorry, I was just gonna know if you were gonna ask a question, because I wanted to.
Did you freeze?
No, I was just gonna say, like, that restaurant scene where, you know, the waitress is just like, you know, oogling him and stuff, and then, you know, Vinny's like, I think she wants to order you. Like,
well, you know, it's
like,
honestly
did everything I was just drinking. It was just funny, because that's such a thing that, you know, at that point they didn't know what her real age was, right? And so, right, wasn't that? Did they not know yet? I can't remember.
Yeah, she hadn't opened up to them yet.
Yeah, and so like the comment was just kind of like not something like a 9-year-old would say. So I mean, she wound up being 13, but it was something a 13-year-old would say, but it was funny.
Yeah, I couldn't believe the waitress like still gave him her phone number. Like, you can call to leave.
Yeah, like how trifling.
I was like, you are really brazen. Like, most of them just let him walk out, especially with his woman and his it could have been his daughter, right? But she was just incredibly ballsy. I wanted to fight her. I was like, one day, Mary, you need to pop off on these girls. Like, you need to be like, don't do that no more. Take the damn phone number. Anyway, okay, all right.
Yeah, really, she should take it and go like this.
Right? Like, what?
Right? That's what I wanted.
The audacity. I know that people say that Mary's like super plain and all of that, but you know, I don't see her as like meek or anything like that. You know, so I don't know why she doesn't like pop off on these girls.
I think she's like girl next door beautiful. You know, not fashion model beautiful. You know.
Yeah.
So. But I mean, I don't think of her as being.
But that's because she likes comfort versus fashion clothes, right? She's like, I put on jeans and then was like, screw it, I'm gonna put on yoga pants and a sweater, cause that's you know.
Yeah. So. I kind of feel like she's like an Elena type of girl, you know. You know, she's not exactly, you know, and none of them really are, except for like Bella. I think Payne might be like knockout gorgeous, and Layla and Marissa, like those, but the rest of them are kind of like, you know, girl next door.
I mean, just the way that Hex was described, yeah, she's got the short hair, but she was also described as very beautiful. Like, men and women wanted to get it with her, you know, like she had high cheekbones, and you know, so I don't think that I think it's just the short hair that detracts Because some people don't
But
consider
I
the
didn't,
beautiful unless
I
they have
didn't,
long hair. So.
yeah, I don't think they're not beautiful. I mean, what I said was they don't seem like supermodel beautiful. So Hex is gorgeous, but I don't see her as like a supermodel because she has that muscular build of hers and things like
Right.
that, which is hot, but not that supermodel look that, you know, those angularly shaped women have, you know what I mean? So I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
But I gave Mary her own little sticker in my notes, and she's so cute. I don't know if you guys can see it, but you probably can't. But can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is she cute? Like that's how I picture her, like this curvy, cute girl that's like, you know. So I don't like it. I don't like that they keep hitting on them in front of me. Anyway, all right. So I'm gonna go. I could talk about that forever. I'm like, girls,
But it might be
get
Mary's
your man.
perception too. So
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Mary's perception of what she looks like too, I think, is less than she actually is. So.
Yeah, I mean, and, you know, and that's the truth for like a lot of people. You know, you don't see yourself as other people see you, which is, you know, a whole thing for women.
Yeah.
So Marissa had to have a conversation with Mary. And how do you feel about that? At the before first meal, she was talking to Mary about, you know, her closeness with Biddy. Was she off base, or should she have had that conversation with her?
I think she, you know, as the leader of the organization, as her boss, she noticed that there was a little bit of crossing the line with, you know, the things that she was doing with Biddy. Like she took her to see her mother's grave. She took her to a grocery store, and not that those outings were wrong, or she could, you know, that it was a unconventional way to, you know, with her therapy, but that wasn't why Mary did it, right? Mary was just doing it to like hang out with the kid, spend time with her. And that kind of crosses the line with professionalism, I think, within what they were doing. And, you know, and I think her saying that to Mary kind of woke up Mary's thought process on how she actually viewed Biddy. And I think it was needed.
I think so too.
And I think that Marissa was, like you said, she was coming from a place of professionalism and not realizing what was actually going on. And I felt like, you know, and when they were having that conversation, I felt like, God, now this is an opportunity for Mary to say, yeah, I've been thinking about adopting her, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, why didn't she have that conclusion to herself during that conversation? That was a little frustrating for me, but like, you know, it was like,
I don't think she would have ever admitted it until unless Vicious hadn't gotten behind, you know, went and did those that paperwork and brought it. He would have. I don't think either of them would have thought about doing that right now. You know what I mean?
I think maybe V had a forethought. He had a prognostication there. I mean, I do. That's why.
Yeah, I don't
engineered that.
Yeah, I don't think she knew at that moment when Marissa was having that conversation. And you know, but would she have? Like, would she have taken that step if Rage hadn't have brought those papers to her and said, "Hey, you know, I want to do a thing." So, what do you think would have happened if he hadn't have done that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't understand why she was not going there. All I can think it was her own insecurity about being a mother, you know. And it's like, I mean, basically, Rage was one like, we should adopt her, you know. I mean, basically,
pretty much.
Yeah. So, and
I think she was scared. She was scared to admit it. She was scared to admit her desire for wanting children. She was scared to confront her sadness of not becoming a mom. There's a lot of things I think she was afraid to admit to herself, and they played a factor in her not truly recognizing her feelings for Biddy and wanting to adopt her.
Yeah, I know she didn't believe that she had an uncle, but that could be a possibility, you know. And I think she was just, you know, I think she was afraid that they would say no. I think, you know, because she does have a big old beast, you know, and I think, you know, all of those things were kind of giving her reservations and didn't allow her to see past them for her to, you know, even entertain the notion of of adoption. So I think that's what it was, but I don't know. It was like, she even knew, like, Beth came to her and was like, oh yeah, you need to talk to Rage because he was holding LW and he shook, you know, and she didn't even see it at that moment. So, you know, it would have been nice if she would have saw that, but I do adore that Rage presented it. And he had said earlier, you know, I'll give you whatever. And that was just really nice to see. And I don't want to get choked up, so I'm going to keep it moving. Because I cried a lot in this book.
Me too. Me
Oh
too.
my God.
I think that, you know, we cried so much in the last book. We cried so much in the last book. Look at AJ. We cried so much in the last book, but they were all sad tears, right? This book, we cried so much. It was emotional, but it was happy too, right? So it was like we were scared, but we had the babies. We were scared, but we had, you know, so like all these things, you know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was really, really emotional, but it really gave us a happily ever after that we were looking for.
Yeah, we needed that.
Yeah.
So Mary and Biddy really did have a cute mom and daughter relationship. But before the whole adoption thing, the first time he took her out, that was when Biddy kind of opened up and, you know, her whole personality awakened. Because she had kind of been like, nope, I don't need anything. Nope, I'm all good. Nope, I'm gonna go upstairs and wait for my uncle. My uncle's gonna come and I'll see you guys later. Why do you think Rage was the one that could open her up? Like, even before they got to know each other, she saw that GTO and she was like, oh my God, is that your car? And then that like opened her up. Why do you think after all the people, Rage was able to do that?
You know, I think because Rage is just happy-go-lucky, and he wasn't talking to her about, are you okay? Do you need anything? You know, he was just like, hey, come and meet my car, my girl. And she's just like, why is it a girl? You know?
Right?
Yep.
Where are the horses? I die for that line.
Oh my God, that was so cute. She's like, where are the horses though? And it was so nice that I honestly think it was because he was showing her things that she'd never seen before. I mean, we talk a lot about how everything gets compartmentalized when there's something wrong, you know, like AJ's favorite subject, like, when is he getting out of the rehab? But, you know, so I think that was the first time that she had seen the outside world without it being connected to some tragedy. And when she stepped out of there and saw that car and this beautiful person who loves other people, when that was something that she had never seen. Like, she don't get to see dudes at safe plays, and every other dude that she ever met had been like connected to tragedy. So I think it represented an opportunity for her to finally be like, I'm okay, you know, and this is okay, and he's okay, and gosh, she's fine, you know. So I think that's what it was. I really loved to see it. It made my day. So yeah. Speaking of which, Biddy became so outgoing. Like, when she walked in the house, she was kind of like, you know, she left their side. I totally didn't expect it. She left their side. She went right up to him. And everybody I've ever seen that meets Zetas in particular kind of goes, ooh, he's the mean looking person. But she walked right up to him like, hey, what's up? My name is Biddy. How you doing? And he like got down eye level with her. I think she was what was needed. I know you love Zetas, but that was amazing. So what you think she was what was needed to kind of shake the house up a bit?
Definitely. They needed you know, they have babies, but they don't have anyone that talks back. Right? And you know, you kind of have Lassiter, which is like the family child. But she just brings this light into the house, and it's going to be really fun watching her interacting with everyone. And I love the way Zetas was like, you know, Nyla could really use a big sister, and that was so sweet. Yeah,
it was awesome. That's awesome. What about you, AJ?
Yeah, I agree. He was like, he was just, and I think it was almost like everybody else kind of, you know, held their breath and was like, what is he going to say? You know? And, but it's almost like she knew, don't touch him. Like she didn't even try to hug him or anything. Not that she was doing that to anybody, but it was like, you know, he just was just like, hey, you know, he was very good with her. Like he seems to really actually like kids. So despite, you know, his past, he's actually,
yeah, I mean, think about it. He was the one that bonded with John first.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I think of all the first interactions, Lassiter was so like gentle and kind with her when she came in, and he was like on the couch cursing about something happened to his TV show, and he was so upset. And as soon as she came in, he just converted into the Lassiter that has this huge heart. So I think he needed her too. You know, I think they all did. And then he said, you know, I've been telling your mom and dad about you coming for so long. So what all can Lassiter see? Because you know, we've seen him have some intuition, but not fully. What are his powers? You know?
You know, I think, you know, we were talking about this before, but I feel like he has all the like he's like the scribe, like he has all the powers of the scribe virgin would have, you know, as a like he's not really a medical physical being. I mean, at least we don't see that. I mean, he's corporeal, he has wings or whatever. But I feel like he sees like things like on an individual level as opposed to like an overall arc of, you know, what's going to happen in the future. You know, I think he sees it through an individual level for some reason. I don't know. He just has to.
I don't know. I think he does. He is. He's obviously not human, right?
Well,
he's an angel,
yeah.
And his power, his healing powers are different.
Yeah.
Everything about him is different. So I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he could see everything, you know, and not just individual power, right? And then the things that he does is to gear and move people towards the future that he sees. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised that he can do that. I mean, he's amazing. So I wouldn't put anything past him.
Lassiter can do anything. I mean, we could always read the Fallen Angels series again and review them here to like chronicle. Look, I'm not going to go down that path. I'm not going to add like 10 more, but or 5 more. Is it 5 or 6?
I think they're like 6, right?
But, right. I think it's 6, starting with
5. I think it's 5 actually. Isn't that 5?
I'll double check.
Well, because the last
it is
two sins were like in the one book, so I think there's 5.
Yeah, probably. But in case people don't know, there is an angel series that kind of coincides with Lassiter and some of his old friends. So yeah, so we might review them. I don't know. But let's move on to another plot point, and it's something that we kind of notice in the books. They tend to, like, anytime there's a bad actor, someone kills them, right? So Hex killed a person who was pretty bad and completely earned it. Sale killed Nasha in this book, and every time it's kind of like swept under the rug. There's like no punishment, and not that we believe that there should be punishment, but is that justifiable that nobody like gets in trouble for killing these bad people with no trial, no nothing?
Well, I mean, I don't think he's killing in cold blood. Maybe a little bit when he went a little crazy after, like, Sola got kidnapped, because there was a few people that probably didn't know what was going on. He was just like,
right,
you're dead.
Right.
But they were human too. So it seems like the law, like, they don't care if you kill a human too. So I don't know if that's the thing, but you know, they were justifiable. Like, so like he killed Alon, and that was because, you know, according to the old laws, he smeared him or whatever.
His name.
Yeah. And, you know, lied about him and stuff. And so that was like justifiable. And Nasha, you know, It's kind of funny because the only thing that they ever said was like when Z came back to the house and he's all still steaming from where him torturing Nasha's house, and Wrath's just like, don't tell me you killed that fucking bitch's, don't tell me you torched the fucking bitch's house or whatever. he just kind of ignores it too. He doesn't even really respond to Wrath saying that. And it was
so that's kind of like consistent, right? So I don't know. I feel like as long as they're bad people, it's okay to like wipe them out. What do you think, Sadie?
Well, I think I agree. Long as they're bad people, it's okay to take them out, depending on who you are, right? So we see the people that have the allowance to do that, right? The Black Dagger Brotherhood can basically, patrol, kill, arrest, that kind of thing. And then, we've seen Assail be able to do it. We've seen Hats do it. And I think, they were doing it to avenge, or and when we either avenge something that was done towards the king, towards their own honor, but all in all, there were people that they were plotting against the king anyway. So that's why I think if they were in connection with that, it's okay. Because I don't see them being okay if there's a mass murder, a mass like a Dexter type character walking around through the civilians and killing them. I think Wrath would have a problem. So I feel like it depends on who it is, and he makes his judgment. You killed him. He was a bad person, so I'll let you slide. But we haven't seen anyone get away with. Yeah, anyone that didn't deserve to die not get punished, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like it's the first time that Assail randomly killed people. He was popping off people in the last book, pop, 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 when he was looking for Zola. So, I mean,
Right, and I don't think they would allow, in reality, they can't go around killing humans either, right? Unless they deserved it. So, which, what they did to her, they deserved it. I think that's I think that's their loophole, right? If they deserved it.
Yeah,
they have the right, according to the laws, to avenge themselves and their loved ones. Period.
And that's the whole honor guard and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, the honor guard, they're not supposed to kill people, but so it's a little different. But they're not supposed to kill them. But
Lucas.
Well, okay, we're not going to go down this rabbit hole.
AJ got a tiny little soft spot for Lucas.
I just feel like
I think she got a crush on him, and she's just not admitting it.
Right. I think she got.
You defend him like he's your man. He's on your top 10.
3 fingers is really creepy to me. It's like, can Lasseter give him his 3 digits back, please? Not his leg. We don't know. Not his leg, but can we at least give his fingers back?
No, I mean, why? There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, he's gonna have to live in society in that way.
Yeah.
Listen,
if I love somebody, I don't care if they snorting their septum out with cocaine. I love Assail. I don't care what's going on.
Love is love, right?
Whatever, love is love, and I'm gonna love him whatever. So if you love Lucas, you love Lucas, girl. It's okay.
You love him. It's fine. It's fine.
It's your new husband.
He's on your top 10. I'm sure of it.
I don't like Lucas because he killed my friend. I don't like him. But anyway, all right. So let's not go down that path.
Is he dead?
Damn near. And just surprised me. I can't deal with you today on that. So I'm gonna let it go. So we were just talking about Assail, popping off all these characters for Sola. A lot's been happening to my dear friend and lover, Assail. How do we feel about his character arc? What do you? I know you guys had some situations or some feelings about him, selling to the lessers and doing all the bad things that he did, but redeeming qualities appeared in this book. So how do we feel about his character arc?
For me, Assail was not one of my top 10 right in the beginning, up until this book. So reading this, and I know, look at your face, but reading this book gave me a whole different I've read this right before, and so I'm rereading it, and reading him now is giving me a different perspective of him. And I really like the growth, right? So in the beginning, when we first met him, he just really didn't care. He was like, I'm gonna make my money, I'm a businessman, whatever, what do you, I'm gonna make my money. And so he would do all these things, and it almost like he didn't care. And then he met someone that made him care, because before that he wouldn't have cared about anyone other than himself and maybe his cousins, right? So I love watching the growth and how he went from caring about nobody basically to falling in love with this woman, and now caring about humanity and people, so I really loved watching that. So I will tell you that your man made my top 10 now. I think he's around 6 or 7 actually.
You can't leave him off your list. You'll never get a hold of him anyway, girl. No, I am not married. You will not hand him your phone number in front of me. How about you, AJ?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely changing in this book, and I think he wants to be a better person. Even if Sola isn't seeing it, he still wants to do better. It's just he wants to do better because that's what she's doing, and it helps him feel closer to her. So
yeah, I think so. I mean, well, we don't have to kind of speculate on that part, because he literally said, like, maybe this will make me a good person. And I don't think he was such a hard-hearted person, because he did have feelings for people before. Like he cared about his cousins, and I think if you were in his life and in his immediate circle, he cared about you. But I don't think he cared just for the sake of being a good person before, and that was amazing. So I really enjoyed watching his character arc. Unlike Sage, I loved him from the moment I saw him, and he popped into my head. I was like, oh, this is the one. I mean, no offense, Rev, you still my number one. But, Asel just, he was endeared to me. And I really, really enjoyed who he has become, from rescuing the blood slave to, settling the guns to the brothers. I mean, all of this was like an atonement. And it was really enjoyable to watch. So and unfortunately we get to watch him in rehab now. And in his words, this is really gonna suck ass. So everybody should look for that shit. So I'm gonna leave my man alone, reluctantly. So the blood slave that he saved, Marcus. Oh my God, I what do you see for him? Because I want a lot for him, but what do you guys see for him?
I don't know. Like I want him. I really want him to have a happily ever after. And I know. I mean, he was captive for 32 years. But I feel like he's gonna need to talk to Mary or somebody, right? For a little bit. But I feel like being with Asale or when he gets out of rehab, but being with the brothers, the twins, he's going to come into his own a little bit, and hopefully have that emotional support that he needs to, get better. And I, because I felt bad. He was like, "Can we call your family?" And he was like, "No, I don't want them to see me like this." So he's got a ways to go before he can rebuild his life. 32 years, that's a long time.
Yeah, and for all he knows, they're in Codwell. Like he said, they're still in the old country, but he doesn't actually know that now.
Right. I mean, they could have came over and, I mean, sadly,
and been
killed. Right.
Yeah. I want all those things. AJ, did you say what you wanted for him?
Oh yeah, I mean, he deserves a HEA for sure. So,
oh, you know what I really want for him?
Huh?
Hold on. So we meet Rhyme, right? And she's a social worker, so I kind of want to hook them up.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to social work for, you shouldn't, like, ethically, you shouldn't, like, meet somebody that you, like, giving counseling to
But that's when
And,
she's going to give the care over to Mary so they can be together.
oh, I see.
You know what I
You
mean?
worked that out fast.
I did. I found the loophole.
Tell you a plotter. You worked that out good. That was good. I like it. Yeah, I want all those things for him too. I want somebody to be waiting for him when he comes home. I want somebody to make his meals, and I want somebody to for him to laugh with. Like, I want everything for him. And because anytime you see someone who has had their life taken from them in such a violent way, you just want all the things. And so I kind of want everything that Zadis has for Marcus,
Yeah.
I hope and pray I see it, because he deserves it,
Mhm.
And Zadis got to see that as well. And I think that's always important for him to see someone who is suffering in that way, be saved. But he is so different than the Zadis we met in his book. What do we think about his transformation? Because even after his book, we know that he was struggling a bit with some of his interactions with people, but here we see more. So what do you guys think about his transformation?
You want me to go first? Obviously, I'm his biggest fan.
I knew you were gonna jump for it.
I love seeing those moments of growth with him, right? So there was that one scene with Mary where they're giving her the sword, and he's like, you say, she's like, oh, I didn't do anything. He's like, what do you mean? You saved me. And it just shows where before, and he hugged her, right? And I mean, those are things that he would have never done before. So to see all those little healing moments for him, and it's just awesome. It was.
What about you, AJ? Feel the same?
I agree. I don't really have much to add to that. So, it's come a long way. He looks, a sweetheart, and he was good with Biddy, and
he was.
It's like when Z saw the blood slave come in on the gurney, he was a little shooken up by that, and Fury was just like, get out of the way so they can treat him. But
he tried. I do think that was shocking for him, but I do I think he also appreciated the sale for that. That's probably why he carried his ass out of the burning house. Probably, because I don't know if Zadis would have took his sorry ass out if he hadn't seen him be like a decent human being. But I do appreciate like who he's become, and even when it's not with Nala, he's like becoming this whole person, and that's amazing. So yeah, it's definitely good to see. Let's move down to the training center / medical center / rehab facility. Layla and Lucas are the people who are down there the most, and they kind of formed a relationship, but it is really, really freaking awkward. Is that because he's a little bit formal, or is it out of respect for her? Like, what's the strain between the two of them?
I don't know. I think they don't have really anything to talk about. And I think Layla's afraid to talk about anything because she's afraid she's going to be talking about Core.
Oh yeah. I ain't think of that. That's probably
either.
Yeah. I don't know. We don't know a lot about. We haven't been in Lucas's head that much, so I really can't get a bead on his personality yet. So, he talked to her very formally. But I don't know if it was respect or because that's how he talks, because he also tells people to fuck off. So it's like, I don't know.
Right.
I can't tell. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sage. I'll let you go first.
That was fine. I was just going to say, she's a chosen, right? So I feel like they treat them even more, how they're really protective over women, but with chosen, they treat them even more delicate. And him being part of the aristocracy, they think that they're this like angelic being type. So I feel like that might have something to do with it. But even when we were in Layla's head, she said something like, you know, he's dealing with what he's dealing with, and he doesn't want to talk about it, and I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with, and I don't want to talk about it. And I think that's why. But I wish they would have came to some sort of like, let's play cards type situation. I mean, you're down there. What are you guys doing?
Right. I do feel like there's a little bit of a wall up because he's still probably a little jealous of everything that Quinn has. Like Quinn has like everything right now. So he has a mate that he loves very dearly. He's expecting twins by a chosen. That was supposed to be in his mind, probably. That was supposed to be his life. Like he was supposed to be the one with the mate. He was supposed to be the one with you know, babies on the way. Because he's everything that the Glamira worships. So I think maybe that has something to do with it a little bit, that his feelings about the world, even though he seems to be better with where he is, being non-abled now, I think his feelings about the world still interfere with some of his relationships. I don't know. I mean, that could be, right?
Well, and that it still affects Quinn. So, I mean, you know,
it's got to, right?
Yeah, and I mean, they haven't really. They've talked a little bit, but I'm kind of waiting for them to have like a brotherly breakthrough. You know, they haven't really. They talked, but they haven't really come to terms with each other.
It's kind of hard to do that right now, right? So it's kind of hard for Quinn to go, "You're a piece of shit for letting me almost die
when he's still recovering."
Right.
Yeah.
And like, you know, and I just don't think Quinn has it in him at this point. He's like, you know, I have, you know, one person from my family, and not, you know, and I think he's okay with that right now. But yeah, I think after, like, I think by the time we get to Luke, I'm hoping we get a Lucas book. And then by the time we get to a Lucas book, I feel like that's when that explosion's going to happen. Where they work out their feelings of what happened, like him feeling how he felt, like, you know, I disappeared, you didn't even look for me, you know, and the other one's like, well, you almost killed me. You know, so I can see this is gonna come out, but I don't think we're gonna get it for a while.
Yeah. I think it would be nice to see that story. You know, it's a lot of people in this world that were like, gosh, I wish I could see their story. But we were talking about Layla too in this. So let's go down her path. She has some things going on in this book. So first of all, even though she was having like problems with her pregnancy, she decides to astral project to the sanctuary. Did she know what she was looking for when she went up there? Like, she was like, oh, let me check to see if I'm all right. Okay, I'm going anyway. And she went straight into there to those bowls. Was she not knowledgeable, even if subconscious, about what she wanted when she went up to the sanctuary?
I mean, yeah, wasn't it that her first idea, she just wanted to make sure that Cora was still alive? But I think that led to her going, maybe there's something else I could find out about him. But I don't know if she necessarily even realized that's what she wanted to do when she first went up there. But then it was like, okay, wait a minute. I don't know. Maybe she saw something in the bowls that wasn't on the paper, wasn't on the page. So, you know.
Maybe.
You know.
How about you, Say?
Yeah, I think she just went up there at first was just to be nosy. She was like, let me see. Let me see where they have my man. I sense him. I sense my man. So he's nearby. And I just need to know where he is. And that's why she went up there just to look at the bowls so she could see what's going on. But then, you know, curiosity got her and she started looking for other things.
I agree. I think she was being nosy. I think she was gonna ransack that place looking for stuff from the get. I know, like, Layla is that person who everybody has this love-hate relationship with. But yeah, I think that was one of the things I was kind of like, girl, go lay down. You are in labor almost. Like, get your life together. So yes, I definitely think she knew what she wanted when she went up there. What do you guys think about her seeking out Core during the whole thing? Because she was only supposed to walk a little bit But she was going all the way down the hallway. What do you guys think about that? And how do you feel about Zeta's reaction to her trying to go down that hallway?
Well, I think he was just trying to protect his brother's, baby mama. I don't think that he was being out of line. I think he just didn't know how to deal with her. He's not always tactful, so I don't necessarily blame him for the way he was. But like everybody else, like even Jane, I don't know. HIPAA law. There's no HIPAA laws in vampire society. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it's like, stop trying to coddle her. It's so fucking annoying. Like, it's one of the annoying things. Like, this misogyny is just ridiculous. Like, the only reason that she even has these feelings for Core is because they fucking kept her in the dark about shit. It's their own damn fucking fault. And for Quinn, I just don't get me.
Right.
God damn it!
You
would have told
her. Just like, be honest with her. What the fuck is this? Like, and even she's like, I would rather you be honest with me. Why do you think I can't handle shit?
Yeah.
We
wouldn't have had this problem for sure if someone would have said something to her.
But that's how they treat. I mean, they not only treat most women, like most females in their world, but for some reason, it's the chosen that they even treat more like that more than actual females within the society.
Yeah. I do. And you mentioned that earlier. That's probably probably plays some factor in how Lucas treats her. You don't have to treat her with kid gloves. Like, she has more powers than regular, vampires. So she doesn't need like all this protecting, for fuck's sake. So I totally agree with that. Let's stay with her for a minute though. Oh goodness, I lost my question. God, I'm getting old. So we find out that that Tor is Core's half brother. Do you think he's gonna tell her? And is that enough to like make her confess her sins to Tor?
I mean, she almost said it. She was like on the tip of her tongue, and then Core kind of cut her off, Tor cut her off, and she just kind of brushed it under the rug after that. She decided it wasn't the right moment or whatever. But it's like, I mean, like when I first read these books, I was like, oh my God, I'm not sure I want to read the show because I was afraid of how it was going to play out. Like how is this going to work? I don't know. Like, she's had this lie going on for how many books?
Oh my God.
I feel like if she doesn't come clean, because by coming clean about what she did, she's going to show that Core really didn't have intentions to attack the king anymore. His POV of the whole situation has completely changed for love, right? We know you did it because of love. And, if she confesses her sins, then they would understand that he's known where they were this whole time and did not tell the other bastards and did not try to attack or anything. So he would show us that he's not a threat and no longer wanting to harm the king. So that would at least appease them in that way to where they don't have to worry about that.
Well, maybe, like I think that's helpful if she would have come clean. I don't expect her to. I didn't expect her to, and it probably would be a relief off her mind, but I don't know if it would immediately make their intentions clear because I don't think they would hear her. Like it would be nice, but I don't think they don't hear her when she speaks a lot of times, so I don't know if it would have changed, anything at that moment in time. I think they probably would have been even more pissed, and they probably would have like executed Cora on the spot. You know what I mean? Because they're just so stubborn when it comes to them. It would be nice if they listen though sometimes.
But then again, could Tor really kill his half brother?
I don't know. Like Tora is
No, but I
so
mean, if
like
you knew,
particular
even
about
if he
things.
did all these things, you wouldn't be able to want to do it, would you? I mean,
No,
No.
and these are not the type of males that would, right? So, we've noticed about them, like, soon as they know that there's some blood relation, their
Mm-hmm.
perspective on the person changes, right? So, like,
Mm-hmm.
Wrath is always like my blooded cousin, my blooded brother, like
Yeah.
they're really into the blood ties, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that once he finds out that he is his brother, that he would have the heart to do it, even though sometimes we think he's kind of like cold hard ass, but I don't think he'd be able to.
Yeah, but even if because he kind of aggressed, well, Layla chased him, but he kind of like was with her. He ejaculated her, had an ejaculation shower with her. Like, that's a lot. Sorry. Okay, that's it. That's it. I'm gonna move forward. Oh boy. The babies came early. No surprise there, because she was threatening and she was walking and she was upset and all the things. But the babies came early. And this is the whole thing. Payne had to save the babies again. Was V too hard on Payne? Or
I think he was a little bit, because
Mhm.
I mean, he's like, drain the well. I don't care if you drain the well. Like, I mean, that was, she healed until she passed out.
Mhm.
And yeah, I feel like he was a little, like, I understand why he was saying that, but at the same time, like, it almost hurt her, because we never heard anything about Payne. Like, did she get better? Is she still in
Yeah.
bed? Because the last time she healed the baby, she was in bed for like a week.
several
yeah,
weeks.
but she
And she
also
hadn't passed
used,
out the last time.
this time though, she used some of Quinn's energy to help her. So I think it was a little different. And Quinn passed out. She did
Yeah.
too,
What
but
was
it seemed like he was more passed out than she was.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't take it like that. Maybe I misunderstood that part. I just thought he was a father that passed out from relief.
No, she took his hand and used
some of his
put her
power?
light through his
Some his
hand.
life power. Oh, okay. I totally misread that.
Kind of like Trez did with Selena a little bit, but not the same power, because I don't think shadows have the same type of power, but kind of like that. But my thought was, and I know V was like, his words were bad because he uses bad words sometimes, but I think he probably thought, okay, you can heal the babies, and then, honey, I'll heal you. So go ahead and drain the well, but I'm going to use my hand to heal you. You know what I mean? I kind of want to give him the benefit of the doubt there. I don't know what you guys think about that, but
Well,
I
and
feel
I
like,
also think that, he knew that she healed her pregnancy. And so I think that he was just like, well, hey, this is, now you got to do this. More of
Yeah,
like,
I don't.
yeah,
but
and
he
he
also
said,
I
I
was
don't want
coming
them
from
to
a good
die
place
in
because
front of
we
me.
know.
I can't deal with them dying.
Okay, hang on, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. We know he was coming from a good place, so I'm not mad at him. I just I just feel bad for Payne, because I really want her to get recognition for saving these babies.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think
know
she'd want it though.
Yeah.
I mean, they get recognition if they want it or not. I'm just saying,
Well,
she deserves someone to say, thank God for Payne for saving these babies.
but Quinn sort of, when she saved the pregnancy, Quinn was like, I owe you. And he made a vow to her, like a blood vow to her. So
That, and I think V saved quite a few people before. He didn't get no recognition either. Right.
Whatever. Mary got a sword.
Mary got a sword, but
for saving her own goddamn Hellred.
Her shit was outside of her power base too, right? So Mary is just a human, and she could talk to this beast and make him do these extraordinary things, even if it was under the influence of Scribe Virgin. Payne, that's her fucking job. Like, that's her whole, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, not that it wasn't great. I do appreciate it, because I couldn't have taken one of those babies being took out the game. I wouldn't have made it. But I think, like, that's a part of you know, who she is. So I get why they haven't given her recognition, but I do think the blood vow was amazing. But speaking of those babies, when they did come through, oh my God, what was your favorite part of the naming ceremony?
I really liked that the Doggin were included in it. They were honored with that. So I thought that was cool. But I don't know why the ribbons are thinner.
Yeah, I thought that was nice too. What about you, Say?
I don't know. What do you think about their names? Like, I really like Lyric. Rampage. I don't know. I'm not.
So we'll come back to our thoughts on the name. What was your favorite part of the naming ceremony?
It was the naming. Well, it was when they named her. For me, it was when they named her Lyric, and she said was like, you know, Blaylac's parents will be the only grandparents that she has, and I think that emotional moment was really sweet. And I think it was my favorite from the naming.
Yeah, I think I like the you know, that everybody was there. I'm always a sucker for when everybody gathers around and you know, just comes together and shows this incredible amount of love. I did appreciate seeing that I Am and oh my goodness, I can't think of his Shellen's name, but I did love that she put the 2 rubies there. Like, it's just such an emotional experience anytime they have those like dedication ceremonies. And it was the first time that we had seen a young of a blood brother be born. So that was just awesome to see those traditions in effect. So it was really cool. AJ was asking about their names. I love their names. You don't like their names? I like
Lyric. I think Lyric's really pretty. I don't know. Rampage is like, I don't know. It's okay. I mean, it's not bad. It's just, I don't know.
It's just different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
we'll call him Ramp.
Yeah.
They did call him Ramp. Okay. I don't know.
I don't know. Did they call him Ramp? But I mean, I'm like, remember. You know, he's going to get a nickname, you know, like Tor for Torment. You know, they're going to give him a nickname, but I like it.
Yeah. Hopefully you'll be able to tolerate it, AJ. Otherwise, you can just give him a nickname and we'll roll with whatever you say. So that's a lot about Layla, but there's a couple of other characters that appeared in this story. We mentioned earlier that it would be nice to see Marcus get a story, but what about Rhyme? Should she get a story? Because she was like a prominent character in this book.
Yeah, she was cute.
I shipped her with Lucas actually just now, so I think that should be her story.
Ship her with Lucas? I ship her with Marcus.
Oh, no, wait, not Lucas. Wait. Who did I say? I said earlier Marcus, didn't I?
Yeah, I think you said Marcus before.
That's
I
who I
roll with Marcus.
Sorry.
I know AJ probably wanted to be Lucas. Who you shipping her with?
Oh, I thought there was another character that should be Lucas. I can't mention that character yet.
Oh, you can't say it yet? We'll talk later. And then, you know, we did have a new character that's been in, I think it's her second book, Jo. And we found out in this book that she is actually Manny's sister, whole sister, and that would be Butch's half sister, right? Half sibling. How do we feel about Jo as a character and in her relationship to the brothers? Butch is a brother, Manny is not.
I mean, we already know what happens, so it's kind of hard to talk about her. But she really fucking annoyed me in this book. Like, it's like, give it up, give up the ghost, stop. Stop chasing. You know, just stop chasing this. What are you going to do with the information? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Why the fuck does it matter? So, I mean, we know why eventually, but why she's doing it. But what's really behind it? But she's not aware of that. But you know.
But I mean, at the same time, we know because you know she's Manny's sibling, and that means she's part vampire. So even though she didn't make the change, she's not
25. So.
She's not 25 yet, right? But it's a self-discovery thing, right? So she kind of like, it's almost like an inherited thing where she's kind of sensing where she came from. But I agree with you. She's annoying as hell and very self.
Yeah, but it was interesting that
and
her and he both sensed each other. So that was, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Good
I personally think, and I did see the sensing each other, you know, and it was kind of like, it was before she found out all that stuff, and I was kind of like, huh, but I kind of feel like, oh my God, I lost my train of thought. I feel like I'm hangry or something. I totally lost my fucking train of thought just in that moment.
That's so okay. It's menopause. It's menopause.
And I'm like, God, what is happening? I feel like that was a
Like
senioritis moment.
mid-sentence, you forget what you were saying.
Right, I really hate that. Oh, I think I remember. So I feel like her quest to know, which she didn't know at the time, just like she wanted to know who her real parents were, she unknowingly was seeking the vampires, because in her mind she knew that she was something different, you know. So I feel like that might have been like the drive there. True, she was a little bit over the top. I'm like, girl, just back up off.
Well, I don't think I mean, at this point, she doesn't know that. So I think that, you know, it's just her nature to, you want to seek out who's alike, you know, what, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but she said at the end that she was like, oh, I think, you know, it's time for me to move on, because maybe that's what I've been searching for, my family. You know, so when
exactly.
Bill was telling her about the family. So I think that was a part of her drive, and unwillingly she was like on to finding her family anyway. So that was pretty cool. Pretty cool. I think we just have one more question. And we skipped this when we were talking about Assail, but Assail and Throw. What the fuck? Was he getting off on fucking with him with Throw by like kissing him and groping him and, you know, doing the things to him? What was going on?
So funny. It was hilarious. And Throw
I enjoyed that.
Not having it, but at the same time having it.
I mean, he felt so like twisted about it.
Right.
He went looking for the Black Dagger Brotherhood, saying, "Did you send him out and send him to spy on me, or is he acting on his own accord?" Which makes me laugh, because he really must have been contemplating, you know, going that place with Assail. Like, he was thinking about it.
Well, he was kind of wanting, like, he was kind of like, you know, when he was like up on him, and then he like had to like jostle himself, like, oh shit, and then like ran away, you know.
Because when he, you know, he confronted him like on the shore of the Hudson, you know, he had this gun pointed at Assail, and you know, after they had this conversation, he was just like, couldn't kill him, you know.
Yeah, it was that was funny as fuck. I think we just have one more. I said that the last question, didn't I? But V, where does V's aversion to touching and closeness come from?
I mean, the bloodletter's abuse, I'm sure. So, you know, and he's always been, you know, he probably has a little bit of abandonment issues too, you know.
Yeah,
so,
probably.
You know,
he doesn't mind the touching though when he's doing it, right? So like,
yeah, because he's in control of it,
right? And I think that's a difference for him. You know, he doesn't like what he did. Did we talk about this? And I just don't remember. But the whole thing with Assail and the like coke line.
No, this is where we didn't talk about it.
Okay.
Letting him snort off his arm.
Yeah, like, you know, and then, you know, he'll grab someone, he'll do stuff when he is in control. I think that he can handle, and I think the rest of it has to do with Bloodletter.
Yeah, I kind of think his aversion to touching is his uncontrolled visions, maybe, because, you know, sometimes when he touches people, he gets a glimpse of what's happening with them, or close to people. He gets a glimpse of what's happening to them. So maybe that's his chance. Like you said, you know, it's probably control issues. But, you know, I think
emotional
he
too. I
don't want those all the time. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, what did you say?
I think it's emotional too. Like, he has trouble expressing his emotions. And so, you know, he does all these empathetic things, but he does it like begrudgingly. Like, you know, he offered the detox to Assail, even though I know Manny did it, but it was different coming from V, you know. And like, that's an empathetic thing. Like, he's like, I know what it's like. I know what addiction is like, you know. And you know, you know, he does these things that are like, you know,
Mhm.
you wouldn't think that
Yeah.
he's really a softie at heart. You know, it's just that he's had all these outside external issues that have, you know, caused him to relate to the world in a different way. Even though he,
Mhm.
you know, he has great empathy and he has great love and he, you know, you know what I mean? And he's a very honest person, you know,
Mhm.
despite everything that's happened. This is, he is, you know, that's how he copes, I guess.
Yeah,
So,
probably.
you
What
know,
about you, Sage?
Yeah, I agree. I like how he, you know, he just instantly like pops with people, right? He's always
Mhm.
really like sharp tongue. You know, and he's honest. Like when he was talking to Sound, he's like, I talk to you more than I talk to my mom, you know,
Yeah,
and that's a good thing, you know, like,
yeah.
you know,
that
just like
was a
really,
surprising relationship. I'm sorry. Go
right.
ahead.
It was like a cute relationship because it was like, it butted and it's like they had this like similar like snappy,
Well, you
you
know,
know, comebacks.
yeah, and it was
Mhm.
like at first, you know, he was like, I don't really like this dude. But then as he got to know Asale and knowing that Asale's kind of a badass, he was like, you
Yeah.
know, I kind of, you know,
I mean,
he has respect for him on some level. So, but he didn't have.
Right.
yeah, isn't that true? Like these, like most of his closest relations, with the exception of Jane, he starts like, I can't stand this fucker here,
I know.
and you know the people
Mm-hmm.
that he like dislikes the most intensely, like Manny, like he really didn't like Manny, and now he has this mutual respect. And then Butch, especially, they were about to go to blows, and then we see it with a sale. So maybe that's his love language. Like you got to prove
Mm-hmm.
yourself to me before I can love you. And maybe that's even a little bit of a sales love language, and he just doesn't know what his is, but it's
Yeah,
nice to see,
he
you know.
really likes strong people. So he, you know, he
Hmm.
likes people who are independent and strong, and you know,
Hmm.
we'll see that later
Yeah,
with another character. So, a couple books from now.
yeah, I do love though. I do love when he was looking in sales nose and explaining to him that he was about to need septum surgery, and I think that was what made one of the catalysts, because he wasn't listening to Manny at all. But I think V kind of got through him a little bit too, whether he wants to admit it or not. So
Right.
I can't wait to read The Chosen. I can't wait, and again I kind of don't want to. But okay, so but next up, guys, we have Blood Kiss and Blood Vow. That'll be 2 weeks in a row. And then we'll get to The Chosen. So unless you guys have anything else to add, we can go ahead and close out for the day.
No, good.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Bye.
Bye.